Shall I start?
Yes, mother. Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we'll continue reading chapter 27 of Teachings of Lord Chaitanya book, and it's a conversation between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramanand Roy. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya, after hearing from Ramanand Roy about the proper execution of regulated life, said that this is external. Indirectly, he asked Ramanand to state something which is better than this external exhibition of life. Formal execution of this ritualistic life or religious life is not very congenial unless it attains the perfection of devotional service. Actually, Lord Vishnu is not satisfied simply by the ritualistic performance of Vedic instructions, but he is actually pleased when one attains the stage of devotional service. The verse cited by Ramanand Roy in reply to Lord Chaitanya means that by the devotional ritualistic performances, one can rise up to the point of devotional service. In the Bhagavad Gita, we find that Lord Sri Krishna, who appeared himself for the deliverance of all classes of people, has mentioned that the human being can attain the highest perfectional stage of life by worshipping the Supreme Lord, from whom everything has emanated. By dint of his occupational duties, Bhagavad by dint of his occupational duties. Bhagavad Gita 18.45 to 46, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, a person duly engaged in his occupational duties attains the highest perfection. This perfectional process is followed by great devotees like Buddhana, Tanaka, Dramida. Oh, there is something. Guhadev, Kapardi, Bharuchi, all these great personalities have followed this particular path of perfection of the human life. The Vedic injunctions also aim at this point of life. Ramanand Roy wanted to present this fact before the injunctions also aim at this point of life. Ramanand Roy wanted to present this fact before the Lord, but apparently simply discharging the ritualistic duties is not perfection. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said that it is external. Lord Chaitanya's purport was that a man having a material conception of life, even if he follows the ritualistic regulations, cannot attain the highest perfection. Is the end of the chapter. Then we'll read chapter 28 Relationship with the Supreme Lord. The reason Lord Chaitanya rejected the statement of the Vishnu Purana made by Ramanand Roy is that he thus rejected a class of philosophers also who are called Karma Mimamsa. Karma Mimamsa philosophers accept God as being subject to one's work. If one works nicely, God is bound to give them good results. That is their conclusion. Therefore, from the statement of the Vishnu Purana as enunciated by Ramanand Roy, the meaning is sometimes drawn that Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, has no independence. He is bound to award a certain kind of result to the worker. Such a non independent Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes subjected to the worshipper, and the worshipper accepts the Supreme Lord as he wishes, both impersonal and personal, although they give more or less stress to the impersonal feature of the supreme absolute truth. Lord Chaitanya did not like this idea of impersonalism and therefore he rejected it. He said, "Tell me if you know of something beyond this conception of the supreme absolute truth. Therefore, Ramananda Roy stated that it is better to give up the result of fruitive activities. Raman Roy understood the purpose of Lord Chaitanya. He quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 27th verse. The Lord says there that whatever one does, whatever one eats, whatever one sacrifices, whatever one gives, or whatever austerity one undergoes for a certain achievement, everything should be dedicated to the service of the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam also 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 36th verse has a similar passage in which it is stated that one should submit everything, the result of his fruitive activities, either by his body, by his speeches, by his mind, by his senses, by his intelligence, by his soul, or by his practical nature, modes of by his practical natural modes of nature, everything should be surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana. Lord Chaitanya rejected this second statement of Ramananda Roy and he said, if you know something higher, state it. The instruction of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam to offer everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a better proposal than the impersonal idea of the Supreme Lord and making the Supreme Lord subjected to our work. But it is still short of surrendering activities to the Supreme Lord. The worker's identification with material existence is not changed without proper guidance. Such activity of the fruitive worker will continue his material existence. He is simply instructed here to offer the fruitive result of his work to the Supreme Lord, but he has no idea of how to get out of the material entanglement. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya rejected this proposal. After this second rejection by Lord Chaitanya, Ramanand proposed that one should forsake his occupational activities and by such detachment rise to the transcendental plane. This is, in other words, renunciation of one's worldly life. In this connection, Ramananda gave two evidences from the Shastras. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 11th chapter, the Lord says in the religious scriptures, I have described ritualistic principles and how one becomes situated in devotional service. That is the highest perfectional stage of religiousness. Similarly, in the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, 66th verse, the Lord says, you give up all kinds of religiousness and just surrender unto me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I shall protect you from all sinful reactions, and you have nothing to be aggrieved over. Okay, so we'll stop here and just summarize what we have read today. So, Lord Vishnu is actually satisfied or pleased when one attains the stage of devotional service, but not just by ritualistic performance of Vedic instruction. Bhagavad Gita 18.45 to 46, it mentions that by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, and a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Then in chapter 28, we see Lord Chaitanya rejected this statement of Vishnu Purana made by Ramananda Roy because it says Lord has no independence. When someone works nicely, God is bound to give them good results. Lord rejected this idea of impersonalism. So, Ramananda Roy gave a second statement and he quoted from Bhagavad Gita 9.27 and Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 2, verse 36 that whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering to the Lord. The Lord rejected this statement also because it does not give any idea to get out of the material entanglement. Then Ramanand Roy made a third statement about detachment. By detachment, one can rise to the transcendental plane, renunciation of one's worldly life. And he quoted from Bhagavad Gita 18.66, that is where Lord says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Raja. So Lord rejected again this third statement because simple renunciation is not sufficient. There must be positive engagement. So, like Lord is keeping on rejecting the statements made by Ramanand Roy. So we'll see finally tomorrow, tomorrow we'll read more how what are the statements the Lord rejected and why, and then what is the final conclusion, like which one Lord accepted from Ramanand Roy or I have not yet read, so we can read tomorrow.